Hey guys, MJ here from Nitecore Singapore. Today we're going to look at the new Nitecore SRT6i. Alright, how it stacks up against other similar lights and the 8 key design features that make this the ultimate long beam light for tactical users that has come out of Nitecore to date. Alright, so before we begin, if you want to win this latest SRT6i, make sure you subscribe to this channel and comment below on how this SRT6i will help you in the kind of work that you do versus what you're using now. Alright, so once we hit 500 likes, I'll announce the winner in the description box below. So let's start with the biggest question. Who is this designed for? The P23i came out recently, right? And this does 3000 lumens and hits up to 470 meters. The SRT6i only does 2100 lumens and hits up to 510 meters. Right, so let's unpack this. Here's how it looks like, the SRT6i. So performance-wise, because of the larger 40mm bezel, it can reach further using lesser lumens. Right, lesser lumens means less heat, which means you can maintain that reach for longer periods, while the P23i will overheat and drop performance way faster than SRT6i. So that's the common mistake most beginners make. They buy on specs instead of real-world performance. So if you need to see far in your work, alright, for extended periods or prefer a tighter beam pattern, the P23i is not a great pick. The 40mm SRT6i is a better choice. But you might wonder, hey, there are other 40mm bezels with the same performance like the MH25S here, also 40mm, and the MH25 V2, right? Both 40mm lights. Even the older SRT7 GT, right? Also 40mm. You can see the size of this exactly the same. Right, all the 40mm bezels will have tight beams for extended work, right? But they're all not tactical. Here's the MH25 V2, right? There's a mode button here, SRT7 GT, power button at the back, and twist ring at the front to control brightness. So they fail the one-handed rule because of their 2-point control, right? I have to go in front and change the brightness modes with my second hand, or I need to break grip, go to the front, change, and then go back here on hammer fist grip. So while you're in hammer fist with a weapon or searching through gear, you can't quickly change the brightness, right? You have to break grip to change modes. The SRT6i solves all of that with its completely new 4th generation tail cap design here. Right, it blows the other lights so far out of the water that it's in a league of its own. So here's how it works. First off is the control ring here that you can twist to select modes, lock out the lights, and change brightness levels. Right, previous versions of this existed on the SRT7 GT. You can twist and finally adjust whatever brightness you want. On the SRT6i, the twist brings you to only 3 modes. Right, click on here at the back. Okay, then it goes from 1 to 2 to 3. 30 lumen low, 300 lumen middle, and 2100 lumens turbo. Right, there is no in between unlike the SRT7 GT, and they did that because that's the ideal gap that operators on the ground are requesting. We outfit a security detail in UK, and one of the key requirements that they keep telling us is when we introduce new models is to have the same controls so they don't have to retrain their guys. The expectation is that every time they pull out their tool, in this case their light, right, it should behave the same way. This way the tools blend in with their ODA loop: observe, orient, decide, and act. So wherever they find themselves inside buildings, going door to door, city streets at night, they run this loop. The tool that helps you fit into that loop fastest will give you an advantage. So for example, you chase a suspect into a building, tight spaces, rooms everywhere. So the faster you adapt to your surroundings, the faster you can move. If you had the P23i on tactical mode, it will be too bright because when you turn it on, it shines onto a wall up close, and in the dark at 3000 lumens, you will blind yourself. Right, slowing you down. You have to change settings on your light or wait for your eyes to adjust. Right, and all that costs time. Alright, remember, the faster you feed your ODA loop, the bigger your advantage. Remember, on the SRT6i, the ring controls maximum brightness. So from the start, you already know how bright the light can go. So there's predictability. Now the last tactical mode is where it takes things to a whole new level. Right, half press and you get 30 lumens. Full press and you get 2100 lumens. But when you release, it turns off. Right, the light can never stay on in tactical mode. This means I can move around in stealth. Right, and when needed, I just full press for turbo. And then once you're done, let go, and then you're back to low mode. This is impossible on many other lights with a cycle interface. So like P23i, I have to turn it on. I gotta cycle to low. Right, if I want turbo, I have to cycle it back to high. Right, then cycle back to low again. I can also do that on the P20iX, but I have to turn it on, cycle to the low brightness that I want, hold down the mode button to get turbo, then let go. Plus I have to use a different button to trigger turbo. than the on and off button. So there are two major problems with that. First is the sound. All that cycling and clicking is incredibly loud. Here's the sound on the P23i turning on, changing modes. Now here's the sound on the SRT6i turning on and changing modes. Right, it's way quieter. So there's an entire security branch that's using the P18 here. They need silent switches when raiding buildings because, listen, there's no sound. Right, because something as small as a light click will give away their position. The SRT6i delivers with its new rubberless switches. These metal ones will give you a very clean and precise feel of the two-stage mechanism. Right, this leads me to the next important point on silent signaling. Often overlooked, but on the ground is always needed. So if you're on radio silent, many teams will communicate with signals. Right, so if you're approaching a ship at night, you flash a blink code so that they won't fire at you. Right, that's great for distance, but what if I need to signal you from across the street, right, but I don't want to reveal my location? If I signal a full turbo across the street in the corner, everybody can see where I am. You can do that now in tech mode here. So half press the power button and you can signal in 30 lumens. Right, bright enough for your team to see without revealing your location. Then if you need full brightness signaling, half press the mode button here. Half press, now I can signal in full 2100 lumens. Right, I can do 3 short, 3 long, right, no problem. There's 2 types of signaling, immediately available. No need to twist or cycle anything. So let's dive into the mode button here, the next key feature of the light. So across all modes, whether you're in ring 1, 2, 3 or tech, it works this way. Half press for turbo, full press for strobe. So despite being on ring 1, I can still have direct access to turbo and strobe, right, when I need to. So this gives you not just strobe ready on previous light, but turbo ready as well, all in one button, no matter what setting you're at. Alright, so this opens up options you never had before. Back to the ODA loop. So you could decide that half press turbo is stage 1. If the person or vehicle doesn't respond, you can full press to strobe to escalate your intent. You can also push it further to momentary strobe, right? So this is really distracting. Right, so it's up to you and your team to define what these could mean. Right, then you might ask, hey, what's the difference between turbo and strobe? Right, as one operator puts it, it draws 100% attention of anyone you point it at because of how distracting and different it is, especially for drivers. From the rear view mirror or side window, if you point at them on just turbo, right, it looks like a high beam from another car, but if you strobe them, right, it's different and they have to look. So this is the same for crowd control in clubs, for example. There are already flashing lights in there, but when you come in with a non-linear strobe light like this, right, it completely shocks them because it's completely different. Right, this gives you the visual shock that helps you either get their attention or give you the split second to take action. Last benefit on the ring controls, this is the first time ever you can easily lock out your light just by twisting the ring all the way to the left. Right, so this disables all controls. No matter what you press, the light won't turn on. Even with the older P20iX, some users were saying that the light accidentally turns on in the holster, right, on the belt when they accidentally bump into it. Right, if you run or dash, right, something hits on the tail cap, the light will turn on. Right, some even burn the hole through their pouch because the light turned on without them knowing. So this lockout mode on SRT6i is a very welcome feature. Now that we've got the whole tail cap out of the way, we move on to number 5, which is beam type. Now it's meant to be used with firearms, hunting, distant applications, so you're going to get a tighter, more focused hotspot to light up your target compared to a floodlight like the P18 here. Where you can see this one is much more soft and diffused. Right, so one of the problems with using a floodlight to light up a person far away, if you actually try at night at 50 meters, you can't actually tell what the person is holding. Right, is that a knife, a black stick, a handphone, or a wallet? With a focus beam like this with high CD rating, you can put more lumens in a concentrated spot downrange so you can actually see what they're holding. Down the corridor, this is a spot beam, so no problem at all. Right, it reaches all the way to the end. Right, no light, all the way down. Perfect. Look at that. All the way down, very targeted. All the way down. Right, look at the nice round spill. This is a spot. Okay, this is at 2100 lumens. All the way down. Very tight, targeted, precise. You can check out the number plates, no problem. Medium range, very tight. You can see who is at the window very clearly, every floor, no problem. Now we go to long range. Can it reach the roof? Obviously, yes. Right, this is a 2100 lumen long beam light. It reaches 570 meters, so there's no problem at all. Very tight beam. Right, look at that. Spot beam lights up the whole building and everything up on the roof. Okay. Immediately you can see right down the long corridor right at the back. You can see if there's anyone hiding there. Look at the spill. Right, very nice spot. All the way up the roof, no problem. It's good for targeting, pointing out items. Very precise. Right, this is at 2100 lumens, long beam. Okay, very nice and precise. Immediately, very precise. Right, lights up. Everything you need to see. Very sharp, very clear. This is a long beam light, so there's 2100 lumens downrange. Right, you can check out even a fence at the far end. No problem at all. You can see if anyone's hiding anywhere. Right, look at the spill. Useful spill. Further you stand from your light, the more spread out it is. Pro tip, the easiest way to compare beam type without looking at the actual beam shots is in the CD rating here. The higher the number, the more focused the beam is. You can find these numbers on all NC charts. Right, the SRT6 has 6 times the CD rating compared to the P20iX here. Right, so that's why the beam is 6 times more focused. This is another thing to look out for. So if the flashlight you're buying has no NC charts and they tell you things like it has wide vision or true max beam or something else, it means they're selling marketing fluff to you. Right, go for lights with real measurements so that you know what you're getting. So number 6 is a real strike bezel. There are many lights that claim to have strike bezels and they look like this TM9K tech here. Right, with these stainless steel bezels. Now these are marketed to help you in a self-defense situation where you're hitting skin and bone, but as a law enforcement officer you're not going to do that, right? You'll be using it to break through car windows, random obstacles blocking your way through urban areas. So when you actually bash this type of stainless steel rings, right, say on a concrete corner at a bad angle, the ring will bend in because it's so thin and then it will shatter the glass inside. That's why they've made the ring of the SRT6i from hardened steel instead. So you have a rock solid bashing bezel. Right, on top of that, they also added 3 hardened ceramic beads here that focus all of your force into a single point, so instantly shattering car windows. Right, so this is the only 40mm bezel light with a real strike bezel. Other models like the MH25 series are all soft aluminum. Right, these are not steel and they are part of the bezel here. Right, to help withstand the impact of bashing, they've also added heavy-duty front springs to stop the battery from slamming into the circuit board. So here's an example of the SRT6i with springs in the front. So when I drop the battery down, right, it bounces up. With a light that does not have springs in the front, this is the MH11 or some of the older MP22C will also have this. Right, watch when I drop the battery. Right, hammers down. So this protects the light against repeated bashing, rifle recoil, drops on the ground. The size of the bezel also helps with grip. So when you hit something, right, it stops here. Right, it doesn't slip, unlike other slim profile lights like the P10 for example. Right, if your hands are wet, you're wearing wet gloves, right, if you hit something, it might fly out or slip through this way. Little considerations like this matter when you actually use it in reality. So number 7 are carry options. The SRT6i does come with a standard 3-way nylon holster, so D-link loop here, belt loop here, and a Velcro pop here. If you don't like the up-facing carry and want a faster draw, you can opt for the NCP40. Right, which is mole compatible and it holds your light in any direction. Okay, here's how it looks like. Mole webbing attachments on the back, you got the horizontals and your vertical ones here. So the light goes in, bezel down. Alright. There. And it holds it very securely. You can mount it sideways, upside down. This is the NCP40. If you prefer cleaner options with just a belt clip, you can. The older lights always had pocket clips that just slide on and clip onto the light. So what this means, right, if you have a lot of pressure on it, right, for example, if I just mounted it to my belt pocket and I really pull on it, right, the light will drop off, leaving just your pocket clip here. So it's not the most secure way of trying to holster your light using a pocket clip. But on the SRT6i, it is way more secure because these are all the notches where you can attach a pocket clip. Pick one notch, okay. There you go, once it's in, then you screw it back down. You realize that the tail cap will cover the pocket clip. So So here it is mounted on molded webbing. Right, it is very, very secure. Right, this is not going to fall off in a struggle or scuffle. If you prefer lanyard loops, you can run it this way as well. This comes included in a package from your wrist as a safety or, okay, so when you grip it and it accidentally drops, it still has some level of retention. Right? The slimmer profile buttons also means less accidental activation, and it can tail stand. Right, the earlier P20iX are very susceptible to accidental presses because of how protruding the button is, and it doesn't tail stand. It also has no loop, so you can't use the lanyard in the way that you can use with the SRT6i. So it's up to you how you want to run it. There are many options to carrying and using your light. Right, there's pocket clip, lanyard, holster, two different types of holsters. If you're looking for attachments, these 40mm filters and cones work just nice. Right, just pop it on this way, and it becomes a insanely visible 2100 lumen traffic beacon. Filters, we have red, green, blue, whatever color filter you need. Alright, there's even a diffuser filter to change this from a spot beam to a flood beam. Now the reason why it has almost double the runtime of previous lights is the 21700 battery compared to the older 18650 battery. You can see that it's thicker, longer and wider. AA battery size that many of you are familiar with. Look at the size difference. At 300 lumens, the 18650 battery gives you around 5 hours. This 21700 battery gives you over 7 hours. So this means less downtime recharging your lights, and if you don't have to carry around a lot of spares, you can charge the battery via the built-in USB port here. Okay, through your vehicle or laptop or via power bank. Right, it takes around 4 hours to fully charge the included 5000 mAh battery. If you want to charge it even faster, you can use external chargers like the CI2. Right, which can charge as fast as 90 minutes. Or if you want portability, the UI one is great, but it does charge slower. Note that this light is not compatible with any 18650 or normal 21700 batteries. You can only use the 21700i batteries from Nitecore. So that's it, the 8 key features that makes this the ultimate long beam light for tactical users. Right, the best one that has come out of Nitecore so far, the 4th generation control ring, the instant turbo, instant strobe, silent switches, right, and silent signaling. Long and tight beam profile here, real strike bezels, right, and multiple ways to carry. Also don't forget the high capacity modern batteries, all of that in a waterproof one-handed light. So should you buy the SRT6i? If you're just using this at home or in a vehicle, then the control ring wouldn't matter as much to you. In those cases, you could just go for the MH25V2 or MH25S. Right, similar performance but without all the bells and whistles. But if the points above make sense to you, it means you are squarely in the range of who they're designing this for, and there's no better long beam duty light out there right now for 2023. Don't put your personal safety on inferior flashlights that claim to be tactical. And Nitecore has been making lights for professional operators for years. Over 15 international agencies have Nitecore as their standard issue. So they know exactly how their lights are being used, the increasing challenges that operators on the ground face, and what's expected of future gear. Right, when you have over 9 years of R&D built into a light, it's impossible to go wrong. Right, so these are all in stock now at nitecorelights.com. If you buy it online from us today, I'll also throw in 3 of the most useful items to run out your kit. The latest HA11 headlamp here, which has multiple mounting options powered by a single AA battery for hands-free up-close work. It's one of my favorite lights now as a backup because you can mount it anywhere. It's not just a headlamp, right? You can remove the band and use it on your backpack, your belt. $39, you'll get it free. Next, you'll get the Tiki LE tiny keychain light with 300 lumens out the front, right, with red-blue police blinkers. This is an amazing backup light for when you're on or off duty, right? Rechargeable as well. Here you can access the secondary light. So the main light is out front, and the secondary lights are click 1, 2, 3, and then you got your red light here. Click one more time, you got blue light. One more time, you got your police blinker here. Okay, this is $39, you'll get it free as well. If you buy everything outside, it's 277 Singapore dollars, but you get it now for just 219 Singapore dollars. Right, you can also go for the 3-month installment, so there's literally no excuse to take advantage of this amazing offer. They are in stock now. If you need to buy in bulk for your organization, just contact me directly and I'll be able to work out a deal for you. As usual, these do sell out fast, so do order yours today. Once your order is placed, we'll courier everything to your door within a couple of days. Link to order is in the description below. Right, as usual, this comes with our 60-day money-back guarantee and fast-free 3-year warranty, so there's no risk at all. That's it. If you'd like to see more videos like this where we help you choose the best lights for your work or adventure, subscribe below, and I will see you on the next video. Right, MJ signing out.